gentlemen, and everything in between, leave your serotonin at home. It's real Douglas Buck hour. Yeah, levity is gonna be difficult in this episode because I'm covering for the first time ever on my channel, and probably not the last, one film by the deranged mind of writer-director Douglas Buck. And that is Cutting Moments, the first one on this compilation called Family Portraits. And I know this is gonna be a short video, but I'm kind of busy with school projects and I really wanted to put out a video. But don't worry, cause I will return to the mind of Douglas Buck, cause I really need more depression in my life. So Cutting Moments starts in this wonderfully American suburban neighborhood. We have our three characters that are introduced to us right away. Patrick, the husband who's just cutting some hedges, his son Joey, who his father might love him too much. I told you this was gonna be bleak. And of course the wife Sarah, who looks just as happy as anybody watching this movie. You can see that A, she's tired, B, unhappy, and C, that her life really sucks. After Patrick is done trimming the edges, he goes to see his son who's playing with some Power Ranger toys. However, the way he plays with them is a bit too suggestive for Patrick, so he decides to take them away from him and destroy them, which is probably a symbol of how his marriage is going.
So Joey, how was your day?
Later that day, he's sitting at the table just writing or doing something, it's not really clear, while Sarah just talks about daily suburban things until she mentions something about the lawyers and a panel of judges. And that legal talk is regarding Joey, cause again, no child deserves to be in Patrick's and Sarah's house. During dinner, like the rest of this movie, it's just awkward and bleak. Even though at this point nothing bad has happened in the film, just the way it's shot and the way it's directed makes you feel really uncomfortable. The lighting is really harsh, the 16mm cinematography is really realistic and gives it a gritty look, and the absolute lack of any music is really making the tension build up. After a very normal dinner where nobody really talked and it was awkward, we cut to them laying in bed. Sarah goes to say goodnight to her son, and then she goes into her bed. There she looks at an old picture of their wedding and she just starts to cry because she's figuring out that she's married a monster. Point that the film emphasizes by slowly moving towards Patrick's side of the bed. And he's not there. Why? Well, he's in Joey's room. And we can hear what he's saying. Don't worry people, we don't see anything, but you don't need to see anything to understand what the fuck is going on and how much Patrick is a piece of shit. And it also shows that Sarah is complacent in all of this. She's doing nothing to help out her son, because she's just as much of a piece of shit as Patrick is. Whew, this movie... It's a hard watch. The next day, Patrick is sitting on his ass doing nothing other than watching baseball on TV, and Sarah really wants to have sex with him. I don't know what turned her on, cause fucking Christ. So she goes into her room and puts on a nice dress, puts on some makeup, and tries to go see Patrick. During that time, Joey is outside playing with his toys, and again, it's really suggestive that he might be replicating what his father is doing to him. And then Sarah shows up in the living room trying to seduce Patrick, but he wants nothing to do with her, which sends her into a mental breakdown, and that's where we get the title, Cutting Moments, because she starts brushing her teeth with an SOS pad, you know, those Brillo pads, until there's not much left. Then she sees some scissors and decides to Cutting Moments herself. And these special effects, which by the way are incredible, were done by two people that worked with Tom Savini. Tom Savini is credited as the special effects supervisor, and it shows because the effects are amazing. And they made me gag. So good job, Tom. I watched House by the Cemetery today and Stage Fright, both movies that are kind of gory, and I didn't gag once, but this film made me gag a couple of times. Once for the gore, and secondly because of the content and the suggestive content. I fucking fuck?
Has a terrific curveball. He's
After cutting her lips, Sarah goes downstairs to go see Patrick, and I guess that was what was needed to restart that marriage flame, cause they have intercourse. While Patrick is holding his, the cutters that he used for trimming his edges, and, yeah. Yep, that probably one of the worst sex scene I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of fetish films. Eventually, they die and the credits roll. But during the credits, we see pictures. Pictures of Sarah and Patrick at their wedding, Sarah and Patrick buying the house, having a child, intercut with the police getting to Joey and Patrick's and Sarah's house and seeing what happened. Then we see that maybe it's not all bad at the end, because Joey is finally free from this terrible shit household that he's been living in since he was a baby. So, what did I think of cutting moments? The film does exactly what it sets out to do, and that makes me feel like shit. Obviously. The characters in this are hateable, the themes of this are vile, you feel just gross looking at it. The cinematography, the music or lack thereof, the lighting, just everything makes you feel like such a slimy piece of shit, and that's exactly what the movie was intended to do. To me, this is an incredible short film and definitely one of the more disturbing I've ever seen, but from what I hear, the two other short films in this collection are just as bad, if not worse. Thank you, Douglas. Really cool.